A cool, breezy morning greeted dozens of people dedicated to the concept of ending domestic violence, a societal problem that has come under increasing attention in recent years. Again this year, the walk began at Rotary Park, but not before Lake Havasu Police Chief Dan Doyle spoke to the walkers.
All right, thank you, and I'd like to thank Mary Lou for putting this on also. It's kind of chilly, kind of windy, so I'm going to try to keep this to about 45 minutes. And briefly, what I want to say is we've come a long way when we talk about dealing with domestic violence. And interestingly enough, last night at the Fright Night event on McCulloch Boulevard, I ran into somebody that I worked with back in probably around 1990 when I was the domestic violence coordinator for the police department. And I worked with, this was one of the advocates that we worked with. And one of the questions I got asked was, here we are, it sounds really bad when I say it, 24 years later, have we gotten any better at what we're doing? And I think that we've gotten better. I think we've gotten a lot better at how we respond to domestic violence and how we help people get through it. On the law enforcement perspective, law enforcement's come a long way from where we used to be. We've come from many decades ago where law enforcement looked at it as that's a family issue, and law enforcement didn't really want to be involved in it, to today where we're providing a large amount of training to our officers about how to determine predominant aggressors, how to deal with survivors of domestic violence, how to get them the help that they need. Now we're working with the children that are in those type of households to make sure that the children don't pass this on. And that's one of the sad things about domestic violence is children that grow up in a household where domestic violence is present, that's what they're being taught. So when they grow up and they get into a relationship, that's what they feel is the norm. They're going to try to exert that power over their spouse that they grew up with. And that's something that we've got to break. And when I talk about how far law enforcement has come, as a young boy, I listened to my uncles who were Irish cops back east, because that's all we did, is we were either priests or cops. And I remember them telling me about what they would do when they would show up at a call and a man had been beat up his wife, and they say they'd take him out back and they would beat him up and tell him that if they ever stopped by and saw a bruise on her, they would give it twice as bad. And I thought that was kind of cool as a kid, and for many years growing up I thought, hey, that'd be the right way to handle it. And as I got older and I really learned about domestic violence, so I said, the problem with that is this person's exerting power over his spouse because he's either stronger or has the power, whatever it is. All you're doing is you're just reinforcing that whoever's got the power has the right to do that. And that doesn't work. What we need to do is we need to teach people that you don't have to exert that kind of power over people. You need to learn how to control your anger, and you need to learn how to be a better family person, whether it's the man, whether it's the woman, and we need to find better mechanisms for dealing with anger, power, whatever the situation may be in that household. And I think we're doing very well with that. We got a long way to go. It's a difficult, very difficult situation, but I'm really pleased to see everybody turn out in Havasu and that recognize this as a problem and support all the efforts that people like Mary Lou and the Haven Center are working towards. So again, thank you for coming out.
As usual, the walkers wound their way around the park, and along the channel to their destination. They lined the bridge and tossed flowers into the water below to commemorate the victims of domestic violence and reaffirm their dedication to seeing this senseless violence ended once and for all. Jim Matthews, Havasu Video News.